Your boy Jordan JC, and I'm back again on the ATS report. And yeah, you already know I'm in a different environment. Mama, I made it. I am on the Windy City Breeze set, and they got me up in here doing my own thing, man. I appreciate the love. I'm here with my boy P.Kidd from P.Kidd Talks NBA. What's up? Say what's up to him.
What's good?
He's also a part host of the Windy City Breeze with Pat the Designer, Ringo, and super producer Joe Host. So shout out to those boys. Continue to follow them as they're doing big things. But yeah, man, we're just gonna get right into it. Obviously, we know what happened over this past weekend with the Bears game. They fall to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 27-17. Let's talk about it for a brief minute. P.Kidd, I just want to throw this your way because right now Justin Fields is in the hot seat, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I was Justin Fields all day. But now the question is, do you think that he deserves to be in the hot seat? Where we're looking at it as, should he be replaced? Is this like pretty much his last season to prove himself, or what do you think, man?
Absolutely, he deserves to be in the hot seat. And at the end of the day, it's a difference between when you have a QB who you see is in a bad situation. I look at Deshaun Watson when he was at with the Texans. You saw at one point, despite all he was doing, despite all the stuff that he was actually accomplishing, he had nobody around him. They had sold up at the year after they got rid of D-Hop. He still went out there and had a heck of a season, right?
Yeah.
He had no O-line. They had tight ends blocking for him on a regular, right? That wasn't just by design for a couple of plays. And so I look at that situation, and that's a situation where we saw a good QB have a really subpar performance.
I agree. Let's just go over some of the stats. Justin Fields yesterday, or Sunday rather, yesterday had 29 pass attempts, 16 completions for 211 yards, a touchdown, and of course those dreadful 2 interceptions at the end of the game that pretty much put the game out of reach when Shaquille Barrett took one to the house. Unfortunately, they were close. They had a chance to do it in the last seconds or last minutes of the game, but couldn't get it done. And then the one that kind of bothered me, I'm going to be honest with you, because we saw last year, at least from a quarterback perspective, he improved from rushing. He had over 1,000 yards, almost broke the single rushing record for a quarterback set by, I believe, Lamar Jackson. And it seemed like they're regressing because they want him to be a pocket passer. This man only rushed the ball 4 times for 3 yards. That's under a yard average. You don't see that from a Justin Fields. And so I don't know what's going on now. Where is there like a mental clock thing where he's just being sped up in the pocket and he's not comfortable? Or are they telling him, hey, you got to stay a little bit more longer in this pocket? Don't look to always just jet away from the defensive line. You got to look and scan the field a little bit better for your open receivers. So is it a product of that, or is it just, hey, he's not seeing the field the way he should? Is he missing open receivers?
I think it's a combination of both. His actual scouting report actually said that he had issues reading the defense. He had issues recognizing blitz and things of that nature. So I think now they're trying to coach him up out of that. Nothing teaches a player better than actual game reps in some instances. So they're trying to put on the field what they've been working on behind the scenes. I don't think it's been the best showing, but I do think that, hey, one, he wasn't known as a runner, according to him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not why we drafted him. He just so happened to be a freak athlete who put on 1,200 yards. Thank you for that, by the way. I'm not sitting there discrediting it. But at the same time, you want to see what he can do with his arm. That's why he got drafted. That's why he made it to the big leagues.
Yeah.
He didn't make the big leagues off his legs.
Yeah, this wasn't Pose's pick. So I think that they're giving him every chance to succeed. But again, I think also kind of what you said before, they may have a shorter leash if it doesn't turn around sometime soon. And again, going back to your point, he was known as a pocket passer more so than a runner. Now, I know we had a conversation about that, but when I looked up his stats, I believe in 2019 in Ohio State, he had about 41 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing. So he was pretty diverse when it came to that. Still did his thing, but at the same time, you're looking for him to continue to improve with these new weapons. Last year, you had the excuse that, okay, he had Equinemius St. Brown. He had
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Who?
Yeah, but right, exactly. Like what are we talking about? Like, he had a slew. Yeah, he had a slew of like B class, C class receivers on this team. Now you've gotten DJ Moore from Carolina. He's supposed to be, like we already argued, top 15, top 20 receiver in the game. You got to Chase Claypool, that has had an off season of training and understanding the playbook. So to me, there's no excuse for him to just be so lackadaisical and doing what he's doing, even though he kind of had a better game. He got a touchdown this week, but you still put a lot of emphasis on him because you traded a second-round pick for that guy. So overall, the team supposedly has improved. Defense, offense, offensive line, Nate Davis, Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, Cody Whitehair, Braxton Jones. For me, I'm going to say I am not yet going to quit on Justin Fields, but he is in the hot seat for me because as much as I want him to succeed, you need somebody that's competent enough that's going to get to these open field guys. If you got DJ Moore clapping his hands like a crazy man at church and you still not passing him the ball, 6 receptions for the game is unacceptable when you started out passing him to him twice down the field in the first quarter. That's unacceptable.
So if you see that, why won't you give up on him? If
because I feel
he's
like
not doing it as a passer and he has a better target, the target is open. You've seen it multiple times. Is it simply because it's week 2? Because we're seeing a trend now. We saw some of this last season. So what's happening now? Like
Joe Burrow has been stinky after getting that rich contract. So I mean, and obviously we're not comparing him to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has proven himself, with the talent that he's had. What I'm saying is you do see a trend that over the last 2 weeks, a lot of even elite talent has been kind of slow to getting going. And so I don't know if it's that because he did sit out one of the weeks for the preseason. You only got 3 weeks now in preseason. And so was that just an indication of, okay, you probably needed to get a little bit more time, more reps? The defenses that these teams show in preseason are not really what they're going to do in the regular season also. So
it's not game reps, really. It's not real game.
I'm not really giving that an excuse. However, I do believe there is a fine line between not doing anything at all and being able to, give a little bit more time to, the reps in the preseason. But I'm at the point, like I said, where I think that if this thing goes off the rails anymore, and now they're 0-2 going into Kansas City, we already know that may be 0-3 because Kansas City's got Travis Kelce back, got a Chris Jones that already signed his 1-year deal. They have their defense back. Even though they lost to Detroit, they didn't have those 2 major players. You're not winning that game, in my opinion. So now you're going into Denver 0-3, in my opinion. Russ is kind of regular now, but I still don't have faith. I don't have faith that they'll go 1-3. I don't think they'll win for the next 5 weeks. I don't know.
Jesus, 5 weeks?
I don't know, bro. I like my confidence has been shot immediately. And maybe it's because it was Green Bay. Let's just be honest. Green Bay just took all the air out of my sails, bro.
Why?
Because it's Green Bay. Like, that's your rival game. You're supposed to get up. You had weeks and weeks to prepare for that game. This is the opening game of the season, and you put that out there. A whole bunch of screen passes and nothing else. No deep balls to nobody. You put that out there against your rival team.
Pause.
I forgot about the pauses. I got to watch out for the pauses. They be on it with this, man. Anyway, I don't know. Like I said, that's just my take on it. Hopefully, the thing that they need to do in this week coming up with the game plan with Kansas City, because Kansas City is going to get them points.
Facts.
They're going to get those points. What you got to say?
No. I think Kansas City is going to be too tough of an opponent simply because you can't beat a championship pedigree when you're where we are. Now, if we come out with a win, great, but I'm not anticipating it. I'm already on to Denver at this point. And realistically, I don't care. I've told people this. I don't care how whether we win or lose those particular games. It's how we look during the course of that.
That's a fact.
I think that matters so much more than the record this season because we are still in a rebuild. We are still putting this team together. If we lose, let's say we lose every game, hypothetically, we lose every game.
Lord have mercy.
But we lose in such a fashion that we have such hope. Like Justin's coming into his own. We getting the ball out. Things are clicking. But we're missing those one score games. Like the Saints just lost by 3 last night. Like it will suck, and but where we are now is so demoralizing. I would rather be in that situation with a promising team than to be where we are now with the team that's just trash. And that's how it feels right.
And that essentially that's my problem is that we looked like we were making strides with the team we had last year whenever we played the Patriots. and they changed the scheme up to allow Justin to be more mobile and utilize his strengths, going to his strengths, and just playing off of that. We were one of the better scoring teams in the league after that week, I believe, close to 30 points a game, but still losing, but averaging a lot more. Then it seems like we got these pieces and reverting back to the Matt Nagy type of thing. Like, I'm going to make you a pocket passer, whether you like it or not. 4 carries for 3 yards is unacceptable. Not even just the yards, the 4 carries. The 4 attempts is unacceptable. That man should be trying to get out of that pocket and run away from pressure more times than that. I don't care what you're drawing up. He needs to escape pressure a little bit more than what they did in that game. To me, that's unacceptable. Going forward, I think this is an issue with coaching and also just the front office, because let's just say Justin Fields doesn't improve from this going forward. This whole season is just a season of suck for him. And he hasn't even improved off of his mobility from last year, and the passing is still subpar. Mm-hmm. Are you saying that if we get the first pick again, we're going to draft Caleb Williams or Shedeur Sanders? He gets put in this environment with the same type of coaching. Is he going to succeed? Like, is it a product of Justin, or is it more so on the coaching and what they're drawing up?
I don't think you can evaluate that with Justin, because they inherited Justin. And Justin had his own flaws. And some of those flaws haven't improved. And some of that could be on the coaching staff. But you also have to put earnest on the player. The player has to improve. The player has to sit there and do the work to overcome those deficiencies. And so I don't buy into the whole, well, he's just being coached wrong 1,001%. Because at a certain point, you as a professional have to want to get better. And so if you know you have problems reading defenses, guess what? You have to put in the work to learn how to read those defenses. If you have problems going through your progressions, you have to make sure you put yourself in the situation where you can work on that deficiency. I don't think that's just solely a coaching thing, because we've seen too many QBs who had these deficiencies, work on them, they get better. We see the progress. I'm not just going to sit there and say, oh, well, it's just on coaching, it's not on Justin. I think that's whack. I think you have to sit there and look at how much pride you have as a player to get better, because I shouldn't be saying the same things about you now that they said about you on draft day. I just should.
Lord have mercy. That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, for me, it's 50-50. I agree with your point. It is on the player to improve. You've got 3 off seasons now, or 2 off seasons where he's had time to work on those deficiencies that they said he had in the draft. The accuracy, the reading defenses. Of course, we know the offensive line is not where it needs to be, but you can't keep making excuses for this guy. As much as I want him to succeed, we got to see him improve vastly and right away coming up these next, I want to say 4 or 5 weeks, because Tyson Bagent is knocking on that door.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just that's a joke. Honestly, hey, I'm gonna be real with you. Tyson Bagent, this is the last point before we get out of here, but Tyson Bagent, I think, honestly doesn't have an issue with the reading of decent defenses. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's probably not his problem. The athletic ability and everything obviously is nowhere near Justin's, but from what I saw, even though it was against second tier of teams and defenses in the preseason, Tyson Bagent showed composure. He showed accuracy. He showed a quickness with the release. There were things that you like with that. And so let's just be honest. If it ever comes to the point where he gets his shot, I wouldn't be surprised if he threw to DJ Moore, and DJ Moore didn't need to clap his hands to get him the ball. Tyson's like, yeah, I'm going to my number 1 receiver 20 times a game. So
I think that's just an earmark of QBs who don't have the superpower Justin has. When you are limited in what you can do on the field, you tend to see those people maximize what they can do. And that's why, like everyone knows, I'm a Kirk Cousins fan.
Lord have mercy.
He ain't running for nothing.
Mid.
You put Kirk Cousins on, you make him run, you having a long day. Right? It's gonna be a long day for the Vikings. But you make Kirk Cousins pass, that man got some passes last week. That was just elite.
Yes.
And you can't tell me he's not an elite QB from a passing perspective. So I think Bagent plays to his strength. He's gonna get that ball out. It's gonna be a dink and doink offense, but at this point, it's better than what we had. And so I'm not saying that he's the answer. I'm not saying they're calling for him to be the guy, but I can see why they would do it. But I appreciate you having me on the episode, bro.
Man, love it, love it. Hey, we're gonna get out of here, man. Let me know what you guys think about that. Is Justin Fields done? Do you think that he deserves more chances, or is he regressing to the point where we just need to move in a different direction? Do we need to pivot? So leave your comments in the section below. I'll see you all on the next ATS report. I'm out.